Gary Kimmel was like the Mother Teresa of East Texas. He was probably the most humble person I've ever met, and he was always thinking of others and what could he do to help other people's lives improve.
Dr. Kimmel was a kind, caring, unassuming man. He was extremely devoted to his family, and he was the smartest man I ever met.
He was a very gentle person, a very kind person, a very calm person. I never heard him raise his voice, and a wonderful doctor, a mentor, someone whom you looked at and said, I'd like to be a doctor like that.
He was a great father, he was a great husband, obviously a great physician.
Gary Kimmel was a driving force. This was a man that stared death in the face over and over again as he spoke with people who were afraid.
When I think about him, I think of that painting of Norman Rockwell, that he's sitting on the bedside of a patient, thinking and worrying about the patient's well-being. And that's the way he was, 24/7. You know, he knew his patient well. He knew the literature well. He was very caring. He would usually take care of the whole family. But then he went beyond that. He developed this program.
The enthusiasm that Gary had for the program was contagious. Everybody that he came in contact with automatically wanted to jump on the bandwagon and help him make this program successful and continue to be successful because of the thousands upon thousands of people that it helped.
So the things that he's done for this community, the things that he's done for his patient, there's no coding that you can be reimbursed for. He did it because it was the right thing to do.
I've referred to him as a caretaker and a drill sergeant wrapped into one.
He was just consumed with his cause.
And he had a way of saying things, you know, the way that he will analyze things and what the words that he used, it created totally different chemistry in people.
He would talk to me about the things that I may have on my heart and on my mind. And he had this way about him that made you feel like everything was going to work itself out.
He could connect with the person and show them compassion, but then also he could motivate them to change.
I got to witness a miracle from Dr. Kimmel. When a lady came in for the first time that was on a breathing machine or she was on oxygen, and Dr. Kimmel, who caringly showed her how to get on the treadmill, and then he would let her walk 2 or 3 steps, and then he would hold her up. And 3 months later, she was off of her oxygen. She was able to walk around. She wasn't restricted. And he performed miracles like that with people because he cared for them.
Gary taught me that every opportunity is disguised as a challenge.
What Dr. Kimmel began is nothing less than changing the entire paradigm of how we treat patients with a chronic illness like cancer.
He realized that the exercise is the medication that affects the entire body. And he was way ahead of his time. Even though everything was going against that, he stood his ground and proved that he was right.
He knew that physical exercise was as good or better than taking a pill.
Now, exercise is considered a fundamental component of anyone's cancer treatment, and it also is considered a pivotal part of preventing cancer.
It was a huge vision, and I'm sorry that he didn't live long enough to fulfill it, and that's why it's up to us to do that.
His legacy now is that he continues to care for cancer patients even though he's passed. He does that through footsteps and the memories that people have of him.
Even though people say, well, the Kimmel was the driving force, I don't think so. I think he was the seed of this force, but now this program has its own momentum. And the reason is because it works.
Footsteps is not about survival. Footsteps is about living life to the fullest, and that was Gary Kimmel's dream.
My dad believed that your body can do amazing things on its own. If you use it, if you keep it active.
Once they come for a couple of weeks, they're hooked. They feel better, they are better, they're healthier.
There are people who need this now. There are people who will need it, who may not be aware of it.
We're going to need the program that Gary started to be there for us and our family and our friends.
And the way we can keep his legacy alive of both improving people's quality of life and improving people's survival is by contributing to Footsteps.
Through Footsteps, we can change medicine and we can change a multitude of lives for generations to come.
He showed me through example that if you have an idea and you are passionate about that idea, that you can do just about anything you want to do. And Dr. Kimmel was in the process of changing the world. He had an idea, and that idea will change the world.